I said, come on over, you'll say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Town of Portland podcast. And this is our, well, we're gonna name him the Ninja Mayor. Mr. Mike Pelton, ladies and gentlemen, is in the studio on his very first podcast for the Town of Portland. So, welcome, Mike. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. So I stole your student's name for you. Okay, so we're going to coin you the Ninja Mayor, if that's okay.
That's what they voted, so I have to go with that.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So anyway, so you just got thrown in the barrel in the deep end.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me what your day job is about.
So I'm glad you asked. I'm in day 2 right now. So it's been a crazy couple of weeks, but yesterday was my first full day there. I got a chance to meet everyone in town and get a handle on it. So it's a lot to know. We have so many things going on, but I survived day 1.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to maybe day 3 or 4 to solve every problem in town, but I'm going to start nice and slow.
There you go. One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Baby steps. Baby steps. So
absolutely.
Anyway, so what's on your hot plate for initiatives? I know the town has got a lot of programs going and very important issues like the water issue and Brainerd Place and all that kind of stuff. So tell me, what's on the top of your list?
So I think it's a combination of a couple things. We have so many big projects. We've got Brainerd Place, we've got the spa, we've got water, we've got sidewalk. We have all these different projects. The school project going on right now, which has just a little bit of controversy. So I think the most important thing is trying to connect all that together. I think with so many things happening, we have to try to make sure that they all integrate together.
Yep.
We're doing the best to maximize all of them, but it's so many things at once that we have to be careful that we make sure they all kind of fit together in the right way. So I think that's the big plan. But we need to also make sure each plan, we're getting the most value out of it. We're getting the best possible use out of that property, whether it's Riverfront or whatever the project is. So I think connecting it all together, I think, is the most important thing.
Fantastic. So I've got my notes here and so forth. So we mentioned, you touched on a lot of the projects. So let's go with Brainerd Place. What's happening down there?
So I'm only a day or 2 into it, so I'm still waiting on all the updates. But I did talk to Dan yesterday, and they just got last week certificate of occupancy for the first apartment building.
Okay.
So they have a couple of things they need to do, but there should be people that can be renting that place and moving in shortly. So that's exciting.
Okay.
And then they're looking at, for those people that drink Starbucks, I'm not a Starbucks drinker, but maybe I should be now.
Yeah, see, there you go.
But they are looking to open up sometime in February.
Okay.
Probably mid-February, but I'll get more details on that. But that's, as it starts building up, that'll start coming together more. And the whole bit, but that's what's going on with Brainerd Place.
Yeah, I heard that they're starting to train their baristas.
Yes.
In a couple of weeks, so they're going to be in there training their baristas.
Coffee is life. You got to make sure that's perfect.
It's the liquid of life. It is fantastic. So, all right. Well, that's exciting, and I know. I think they're last time I spoke with Dan, they're going for the funding for the second apartment building.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
yep.
And to go from there. So that's exciting stuff. That's great economically for the town. I think that's going to be a big boost for downtown. Me being a downtown business owner, I think, from a standpoint of, right now you're going to have 240 apartments over there, which is going to make Main Street much more walkable.
Absolutely.
And
think about, we've got Brainerd there, and on the other end you've got the Nordic Spa.
Yes.
Which I don't think a lot of people know about that as many details, but between those two, you've got a lot of power coming into the downtown area. So
yeah. So now that you said Nordic Spa, so what's happening there?
So
last time we had a presentation for the Exchange Club, and they said they were going to be starting their construction in January. So
yes. So it looks like by the end of this month or early next month,
they're
going to start the construction. I took a look at the plans yesterday down in Town Hall, and they look very impressive. It's going to be a beautiful facility, and they're dropping, I believe, up to $40 million on this project. That's a lot of money, but when it's done, it's going to be beautiful. I've been to a spa like that before, not theirs. I believe this is their first one in the U.S.
Yep.
But they're fantastic. They're beautiful. They're going to have, I think, 3 restaurants or 3 food venues there, along with everything else. So that is going to look really nice. As I get more details on that, I'm planning on sharing with the town what's going on. That's another thing I'm trying to do as well, is make sure that people in town know what's going on. They're updated as I'm updating on it.
Sure.
Because the more the people know, the more they'll be aware of what's happening in town and can contribute or give their feedback either for or against. So the more engagement we have, I think that's really important.
Sure. Well, obviously that's going to bolster, the Riverfront Park and the development down there, and again, more economic growth. And I think there's an RFP out for
Yes.
for the Riverfront.
Yes,
as far as that
absolutely. Yep, there's a $200,000 bar grant to look at what we can do for the riverfront. And we have a couple other riverfront projects that are working right now that Riz and Lou are working on to try to get some access to the river. Most people know in town, we have the most riverfront property.
15 miles on the river.
But no access.
Yeah.
So that should change in the course of the next couple of years. So that's very exciting.
Very nice, very nice. So that being said, with the Nordic Spa, I know from a standpoint of upgrading, with the school systems, we got, some issue. The water issue, I went and had a Water and Sewer Commission meeting last night. I went out and took pictures of the well drilling out at the Riverfront Park, and I showed those to the Water and Sewer Commission meeting. So that's exciting stuff too.
Absolutely. I'm still getting up to speed on all that's involved in water in town, but that particular well, I believe, has up to like 1.8 million.
Yes.
So it has a lot of availability potential, a lot of potential. It could make us water sufficient in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of big decisions we have to make.
Yes.
But that's nothing but helpful for the town.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a long time coming. And I know our contract with MDC is up a year from now. So
Correct.
There's a lot that has to happen in the next year. So it's going to be a very busy time.
Yeah. No, we had that January. Our 30-year contract with NBC is January 126.
Yes.
So, we've got to be in a place to where we can, make things happen.
Absolutely.
And I think the neat thing about that well out there is in a different vein than our Glastonbury well at the town garage. So we've got 500,000 gallons a day there as well.
Absolutely.
So with that potential, we could, maybe sell water to East Hampton.
That's exactly right. Because there's a lot of flexibility.
Yes, it is.
Portland water is the best water.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course it is.
Well, as I started out working for the town, as you know, while I retired, this is going to be, this week I'll be 1 year since I've been retired.
Is it a year already?
It's been a year.
We are going to pull you back in, by the way. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay. All right.
The second 50 years will be just as much fun.
Yes. All right. Fantastic. Oh my God. So a little bit about the school projects. What's happening? I know, just so you know, Charles is going to be coming in and doing a podcast at 11:30 today.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
that's fantastic.
it would be a great segue.
So I'll tell you what I say. I know it has a lot of interest in town. People have followed this project, I think, more than any other project. Brainerd Place was closed, but this one, everyone's involved in it. And I think that's great. It's a lot to talk about. The referendum that was voted down 60% to 40%, at least told us that they don't want to just one big school.
Right.
And I understand that. But now we have to decide how we're going to do fixing up at the existing 3 schools, or what do we do? We did make a decision at the last meeting that I attended for the committee that we want to move 6th grade up to middle school.
Okay.
It won't be immediately, maybe a year or two. We'll make sure it segues properly. There was some concern about whether we would make some accommodations for the 6th graders up in the middle school. And I think that was very reasonable. So I think that's going to happen. Charles will probably talk more to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was decision 1 that we made in the committee. The second decision is, what do we do with the other 3 schools? Do we fix them all up? Do we divide it up? Do we end up closing one? And I think that's where they're at right now. So I know the next meeting we have, another week and a half, they will explore the actual cost to fix each one of the 3 schools.
Yeah.
Brownstone, Valley View, Gildersleeve, and what would the cost just to fix them? And then what would it look like if we closed Valley View or Brownstone or Gildersleeve and renovated to the other ones? So there's a lot to talk about. I encourage people to listen, pay attention, come to the meetings. We're going to try to make sure they're all broadcast.
Yeah.
So that way people can watch from home. But I encourage you, because it's probably the biggest municipal project that we're working on right now in terms of cost and effect on the future generations. So they should be involved. I don't think everyone's going to be able to agree on it. I know some people can't even imagine Brownstone closing,
right?
Because they don't know what's going to happen to that. Same thing with Valley View, same thing with Gildersleeve. But I think it'll be worth a good conversation. I think we can come together on something that makes sense. And again, I encourage people to listen, pay attention, and put their 2 cents worth, and also understand what the facts are.
Sure.
One of the biggest issues last time with any referendum is sometimes things get tossed out willy-nilly that aren't true, and it's easy to get people excited and angry about stuff. But I think if we stay with the facts, find out what's best, and then we execute and do that. And it just fits in with everything else we have.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think you guys got a great committee put together.
Absolutely.
With a lot of knowledgeable people on it.
We have a lot of smart people on there, both people from in town, both experts from other areas.
Yeah.
We have access to the people that worked on previous committees. Charles will expand on that too.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of brain power on this. So if we can't figure it out, then it's not solvable. And I think it's solvable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, hey, going back to prior, obviously you're running your dojo in town. So
Right.
Prior to that, now you have an alter life that in business. So tell us about what you did prior to opening the dojo.
I do. So I think most people in town know me from the karate school, or from my coaching, or from Unified Sports, or whatever the things I've been in. But I had a 20-year career before then in the health food business. So I not only worked for smaller and bigger companies in the health food business. So we would sell products to Whole Foods and GNC, and we would export products to Canada. We would make products sold throughout the country. So I did that for about 15 years. And then I started my own consulting business when we moved to Portland.
Okay.
Did that for 5 or 6 years, worked with a lot of companies, ended up working with Norm, for example. Did some sales for him, worked for other Connecticut companies, loved it, traveled all over the place, did import and export of products. And then when I guess inherited the dojo by happenstance, was just the time I was looking to find an office for my consulting business.
Yeah.
And that evolved into some consulting and some classes with karate, some less consulting and more karate. And then it was that point back in 2011, I started getting involved in a bunch of stuff in town.
Okay.
And started working with kids again, which I'd done for my whole life.
So everybody, you are a black belt.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. And
in verbal ninja as well.
so so we can also call you Sensei.
Yes, you can.
Okay. We also have one of my old neighbors that I grew up on Perry Avenue, Sensei Cordone.
Yes, Sensei Cordone.
Yeah, Nick and I grew up on Perry Avenue and lived right across the street. And he's great people.
I tell you, so he's now a grandmaster.
He's a grandmaster.
He's a grandmaster now. So Grandmaster Cordone is down at my studio. He teaches class there every week. He does a number of things down there. He's been great. In fact, he's going to be filling in for me. I'll be focusing all my efforts on the town going forward, but he's down there doing my classes for me during the weekday, as well as the other black belts that are down there. So he's an amazing man.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he's good people.
And you also have Alicia down there. And,
I do. Miss Alicia, she's doing her dance classes down there.
Well, Alicia and my wife worked together. She worked for my wife for so many years. We used to rent the Trinity Church up there and so forth. And she's picked up the baton and is doing a great job.
Oh my! And then we have Alicia. We have Jen down there too, doing personal training. We have Naji, who is an amazing trainer as well. So we have a lot of good stuff going on down there.
Well, he is the poet laureate.
The poet laureate of Portland. Yes,
of Portland.
Yes.
In fact, we're going to have to get him up here.
100%. I will drag him down here.
You drag him down.
I will bring him down here. Gently drag him.
Yes.
I shall.
For sure. So anyway, I know there's people get passionate about things and so forth, and I know Facebook is out there. And how do you handle all of that stuff?
So as my wife said, I'm on a social media diet going forward, but it's a pro and con. So I think it's good that people are engaged.
Yeah.
It's interesting looking at the Portland Facebook page because there's a lot of controversy, a lot of yelling, but there's also a lot of information on. There's a lot of engagement, and the fact that people care enough to participate, I think, is a good thing. But again, it's telling the truth, being honest, getting real answers. So I'm approaching it very diligently, but I am going to try to work out a way going forward that I can still communicate what's going on with the town, because I think people want to know, they're interested, and with so many things, I think that's a big core responsibility I need to do going forward.
I think this is one of the things that Ryan, when we first started doing podcasts over a year ago, that was, this is a great vehicle to, get people out there and something, let people know what's going on and all this, because as you say, the town has a lot of initiatives going forward, big projects, small projects, but they're all projects, and so forth. So I know you're basically, so just tell us, update us on all of the Board of Selectmen now. I know we had, obviously, tragically, we lost Shawn.
Yeah. And I have to say too, I mean, that was, and I know people have gone through the grieving process, but it's still really difficult talking about that. I mean, this has been a hard 4 weeks for me personally, but obviously for the family and the friends that knew Shawn, the people in town that just are aware of it. It was a hard thing. And for me, the fact that people came together as they did. I mean, the high school it was so many people that came to
Yes,
it. So
yes.
everyone knew about it. Hearts broke. People around the state, around the whole area, New England, knew about this.
Yeah.
So that's hard. So even as I started this week, I'm aware of that. I'm conscious of that. I'm doing what I can to honor Shawn. One of the things that I really admired about him is he was very good on just what's important for Portland. He spent a lot of time,
Yes.
30 plus years as a firefighter and involvement. So that's what I've always been, and that's what I'm planning on doing. Is it's all about Portland. I don't care about party. It's what's the best thing for the town, and I think if we all do that,
Yeah.
only good can come from that. Whether it's the water project, the school project, like
Right.
what's the best for the town.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's kind of how I'm trying to honor him going forward, because I think that's important.
Yeah. So basically, just going down the line as far as your members of the board.
Yeah. So right now, Rick Shar, who was on the board before, we pulled him back in.
Yes.
So he's back on. He is such a smart man. He's
Yes.
the one that owned Tri-Town before. He is going to be a big contributor. He's very involved in water projects.
Yes, he
so
is.
I met with him yesterday. Lots of things. He's a great addition. Also, Tim is now on the board as well. He transferred from Board of Ed.
Tim
to our board.
Lavoie.
Yeah, Tim Lavoie. So he'll be a great contributor as well. Very big advocate for the Board of Education. And the rest of the team is still there. Mike Hernandez is our deputy selectman.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's going to be very helpful. Him and I have had a number of conversations, and I'm going to make sure that he's fully involved and knows what's going on, and I welcome his help and support. But
Sure.
we've got a good group, and John and Bobby and and Jim. It's just a good group of people. So they all have the best interest of Portland in mind, and that's all you need to
Yes.
get things done, I think.
Yeah, no, regardless, I know like I say, I'm on the Water and Sewer Commission, and Rick was the chair of that, so we had to replace him as chair. He was there last night and so forth.
We got him now.
Yeah, you got him now. So Jim McCabe has stepped up as the chair of our Water and Sewer Commission, so we can keep moving things forward. Yeah. And, I think some of the other issues, obviously, we're still, in search of a public works director. Is there
Yes.
any news on that at all?
No, we have 3 applications, and right now we're looking at them. That is a priority. We need to get that done. That's the most important job I need to fill right now. So we're working on actively. As soon as I have a word on that, I will let people know. But that's a big priority. And then again, just making sure all the other projects are moving forward.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, keep pushing the ball forward.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, that's great. So what do you do for hobbies? I know you're so busy. Talk to me.
I love teaching. I've taught for a long time.
Yes.
So I will still scratch that itch on Saturdays with the kids that I'll continue to teach. I used to be a runner for all my life.
Yeah.
I now have become a hiker and a jogger and a walker.
Okay.
So I've downshifted that.
I know that feeling.
So I was going to do an Ironman or a half Ironman with my son Tommy, and I wasn't able to do it. I got injured because I trained too hard for it.
Yeah.
But I love doing those. I've always done those. My wife and I, we get out and do a lot of hiking in the woods. That's our forest therapy, as they call it.
Now you're part of the hip replacement crew.
Yes,
aren't you?
in fact, I'm one of the cool kids. I have 2 fake hips.
Oh, me too.
So there you go. So all the cool kids have at least 2 hip replacements. So that adds an element of spice to everything I do.
Oh my God! It's I tell you, it's I had one done, and then I had the other one done, and so forth, and I'm still you're doing 10 times better than I am, boy. I'll tell you.
I'm hoping I don't wear it out though, right?
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. I'm getting into the point now. I'm having a shoulder pain now. So man, so pretty soon we're going to have all aftermarket parts.
100%. It's combined together. We're one complete man, right? With all the parts we have.
God. Anyway, so okay, so obviously being here, my altar life has been music for
Yes.
50 years and so forth. So tell me, what's your favorite genre of music?
So I would say 90s music
Okay.
or 70s music are my favorite, because that's classic. Bob Seger,
Okay.
favorite artist out there. But yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that's one of the questions I asked. If you got stuck on a desert island, what 5 albums would you bring?
Oh, that's a good question, huh? Which 5 albums? Eagles' Greatest Hits.
Okay.
Classic. Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, nice.
Bob Seger's Stranger.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna pull one of the last 2. I don't know. Maybe Stones. Definitely a Stones
Okay.
album.
All right.
Stones album, and maybe a little Credence.
Okay.
Clearwater
CCR.
Revival.
There we go.
God, I think I'd start with that.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Mix in a little Michael Cleary.
Yeah,
Because of course classic music.
He's homegrown.
Homegrown,
Well,
right?
he's appeared on the podcast twice.
Just twice?
Yeah. And well, actually, twice, and then he did a cameo for one of his old drummers, Johnny Corvo. He shows up. It's crazy. So anyway, all right. So desert island food. If you got stuck on a desert island, what food could you eat every day?
Buffalo chicken pizza from Tommy's, 100%.
All right.
You know, chips and salsa from Chili's.
Nice.
Classic.
Okay.
My wife's chicken.
Ooh.
You know, she cooks it up like a good Italian. So
Oh,
she's
nice.
got it going on.
Oh, fantastic.
And candy corns.
Candy corn.
Of course, candy corns.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
All right.
Someone's got to eat them.
I
No one else will. It's up to me.
like that. Candy corn. Oh, my God. Well, it's killing me. Killing me. Fantastic. All right. All right. Mike, thanks so much for coming down.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. And, you know, just so everybody knows, we have our faithful reporter from the River Eastern room, London, is here. So London's got, I'm sure she's been taking notes over there, and she's got some more questions for you. So we thought we'd kill two birds with one stone.
Love
So
it. Love
fantastic. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Town of Portland podcast, and with our Ninja Selectman, Mr. Mike Pelton. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming down. Congratulations. Good luck in keeping all the balls in the air and going from there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. That is all. Thank you.